There was a time when the ocean did not belong to whales, not to sharks, not even to life as we know it. There was a time when the ocean belonged to a giant, a shadow so vast that sunlight fractured around it. A predator so perfect that evolution stopped trying to improve it. A heartbeat so powerful it echoed through the bones of the sea. Its name was Megalodon. But this is not the story of its rise, not the story of its dominance. This is the story of its last day. The morning was calm. A stillness hung over the ancient ocean like a held breath. The world was changing, but the Megalodon did not know this yet. How could it? Titans rarely notice the cracks forming beneath their feet until the fall begins. The water carried a strange chill, currents shifting, temperatures dropping. Something deep in the ocean had begun to break. The Megalodon moved with silent confidence. 40 meters of raw muscle, teeth like curved knives, a jaw strong enough to crush bone the size of trees. It had never known fear. Why would it? For millions of years, the ocean had been around it. Waves shaped themselves to its hunger. Schools of ancient whales scattered at its approach. Even the great predators of that age swam respectfully around its territory. But dominance is a fragile thing. It lasts only as long as the world allows it, and the world had chosen a new direction. Far above the surface, continents were drifting. Volcanoes reshaped the air. A veil of dust and gas slowly cooled the planet. The oceans responded first, their warmth slipping away, their chemistry shifting, their food chains beginning to tremble. Life below felt this tremor. The Megalodon felt it too. Not as a thought, but as an ache, a whisper in the water. Fewer whales, longer distances between hunts, empty stretches of ocean where life once swarmed like stars. But a giant does not understand decline. It only knows hunger. And that morning, hunger led it into a final hunt. The Megalodon's massive tail swept through the water, sending shock waves through the deep. Ahead in wash, a shape moved. Slow, heavy, unmistakable. A dying whale. Thin, weak. A sign of a world losing balance. The Megalodon accelerated, its body cutting through the water like a blade. With a surge of ancient power, it struck. A bite that once would have ended life instantly. Shook the whale, but not with the same force as before. Something was wrong. The Megalodon circled, confused. Its own strength felt different, slower, heavier. The ocean had cooled enough that even the blood of giants was beginning to move sluggishly. But instinct pushed the beast forward. It bit again, and again. The sea filled with red, a cloud spreading like dissolving smoke. The Megalodon fed, but the meal did not restore it the way it once had. Because the problem was not the whale, the problem was the world. Hours later, the giant swam deeper, into a silence unfamiliar, even to a creature of the deep. Then, a vibration, low, unsteady, not the rumble of another predator, not the call of a whale. It was the ocean itself, currents colliding, cold water flooding ancient migratory paths, pushing prey into new territories where other rising predators, smaller, faster, sharper, were already waiting. Among them were the ancestors of the great white shark, tiny compared to the Megalodon, yet perfectly adapted to the changing world. The king had strength, but the newcomers had the future. As the sun lowered, the Megalodon returned to the shallower waters, not by choice, but by instinct. Warmth was disappearing from its world, and giants do not survive in the cold. There, beneath a fading orange sky, the giant circled slowly, its heartbeat deep and uneven. Above it, seabirds circled, their cries echoing across the dying day, as if witnessing an ending they did not understand. Below it, the ocean darkened, thick, heavy, like a curtain being lowered. The Megalodon paused, a moment in time, a final breath before the world shifted beyond recognition. It did not know this was its last day. Creatures rarely do, but the ocean knew, the currents knew, the silence knew, and soon the Megalodon would know too. As the day moved toward late afternoon, the ocean seemed strangely unsettled. Powerful undercurrents surged through the depths, pushing ancient cold water upward and warm surface water downward. To most sea creatures, this was a silent warning, a disturbance far below, something massive shifting in the darkness. But to the Megalodon, this was an invitation. Pressure changes whispered of activity. Vibrations traveled across kilometers of open ocean, like distant footsteps on a hollow floor. The giant predator followed these signals effortlessly, guided by instincts sharpened over millions of years. And then, the sea grew darker. Not because of depth, but because something enormous was moving above. A migrating whale pod, 6 adults, 1 calf, exactly the kind of opportunity a megalodon would never ignore. The giant shark rose from the deep like a silent missile. Its enormous shadow merged with the ocean floor until it vanished into the water's natural darkness. The whales sensed something, a ripple, a faint shift, and tightened their formation. But it was too late. With a single burst of speed, the megalodon launched itself upward. The water exploded. The shock waves scattered the pod, their calls turning from melodic to panicked. The largest whale turned, placing itself between the predator and the calf. But the megalodon circled smoothly, expanding its radius, calculating the perfect moment. Its movements were precise, too precise for a creature so massive. But that was the truth of this ancient hunter. Brute force wrapped in deadly intelligence. It struck again. The ocean boiled with sound, deep echoes mixing with high-pitched distress calls. Even at the surface, seabirds panicked and lifted into the air, sensing something catastrophic unfolding below. The battle lasted minutes, but felt like hours. And when it ended, the sea fell eerily calm. The megalodon, victorious, dragged its kill into deeper, safer waters. Blood clouds dispersed slowly, carried away by the drifting currents. Scavengers gathered at a distance, waiting for their chance to feed. But the megalodon would not get to enjoy this victory for long. Far away beyond the horizon, something else was changing. Something no animal could sense, something far greater than prey or predators. Earth itself was transforming. The climate shift that had quietly begun decades earlier was accelerating. Ocean temperatures were falling inconsistently, warm in some areas, freezing in others. Storms were forming more frequently, pushing colder waters into zones where the megalodon thrived. By sunset, the first ripple of this change touched the giant shark. A stream of icy water spread through the deep like a sweeping hand. For smaller creatures, it was uncomfortable but survivable. For a warm water giant that relied on stable temperatures, it was a death sentence slowly tightening around its world. The megalodon felt its muscles stiffen, its senses becoming sluggish. Hunting would now require more energy than before. Moving long distances for food, already exhausting, was quickly becoming dangerous. But nature does not announce endings with thunder or lightning. Sometimes, endings arrive in silence. As night fell, the megalodon retreated deeper into the twilight zone of the ocean, an area where faint blue light faded into pitch darkness. Here it could conserve energy, wait for temperatures to stabilize. But the water only grew colder and colder. By midnight, the discomfort had turned into a deep, aching exhaustion. Breathing required more effort. Swimming felt like dragging a mountain through the sea. The ancient predator, once the uncontested ruler of the ocean, was now battling something even it could not defeat. A changing planet. And somewhere in the dark, another threat approached. Not a predator, but time. For millions of years, the megalodon adapted, survived, dominated. But now the ocean it knew, the ocean it ruled, was disappearing. Food sources moved into colder regions the megalodon could not enter. Whales migrated farther away. Storms scattered prey patterns. The ocean slowly closed around the giant shark like a shrinking cage. Near dawn, the megalodon attempted one final journey toward warmer waters that once served as its hunting grounds. But as it swam, something felt different. The strong heartbeat that once echoed through its massive frame was slowing. Its powerful tail strokes lost their rhythm. Its senses dimmed, the world around growing distant and muffled. The predator that lived through epochs, that hunted towering whales with effortless brutality, that survived countless natural threats, was now fighting the one enemy no creature has ever outrun: extinction. As the first light of morning filtered through the water, the Megalodon drifted downward. Its enormous body, once a symbol of unstoppable power, fell deeper into the dark, passing through shafts of fading blue light. Down,